Yo, welcome back to episode 24. Actually, that's Bob Probert's number 24. Bobby, rest in peace. Welcome back to UnHammered with your host, Brantt Myhres. Week 24 of everybody on the journey staying unhammered or not unhammered. I don't care. I don't care as long as you keep an open mind, right? As we talk about on the show. And week 24, which is pretty cool. We've got guys that are writing in and keeping tabs with me, which is nice. You need somebody to be accountable. But anyways, if you're driving, walking, running, flying, skipping, jumping, hopping, I don't care what you're doing. You got a coffee, root beer, Coke, remove the ain. Tea. If you've made it, man, if you've made it a day from drinking or drugging or gambling or fucking eating yourself to death, cheers to you, everybody. Cheers to the miracle. Let's have one. Beauty, beauty, beauty. All right, guys. As we do, well, hey, I got to start out with a prayer, don't we? Meditation, right? For you folks that believe in something other than you, and for the ones that are on your path and not sure, it's okay. Keep going. But a little advice, I guess. Believing in your ways probably hasn't got you tuned into this show, has it? So, all right, here we go. Meditation for the day. It is not so much you as the grace of God that is in you that helps those around you. If you would help even those you dislike, you have to see that there is nothing in you to block the way, to keep God's grace from using you. Your own pride and selfishness are the greatest blocks. True. Keep those out of the way, and God's grace will flow through you into the lives of others. Then all who come in contact with you can be helped in some way. I don't know, man, they're punching a lot into this meditation, but isn't it? We'll talk about it. Keep the channel open, free from those things that make your life futile or ineffective. So it's really about what have you done for somebody else other than you? And have you done that? Have you done that today? Have you done that in the last week? Have you done something nice for somebody, and you've kept that door open of unselfishness? Is what that is. Okay, let's do a prayer. I pray that all who come in contact with me will feel better for it. I pray that I may be careful not to harbor those things in my heart that put people off. Sorry, I just want to read that again. I pray that all who come in contact with me will feel better for it. Okay, I got that. So, all who come in contact with you. Man, it's not a work in progress. But hey, I've been working on it for a while, and I try to be a compassionate human soul. A compassionate human soul. And for the most part, I do okay. Even when maybe be around somebody that I don't particularly like. But you know what? You put a smile on and you be considerate. Unless you want to drop the mitts. And speaking of dropping the mitts, oh boy, my idol Mike Tyson, he's fighting here next week. He's fighting some guy named Jake Paul. I don't know. I guess he's a YouTuber. You're like, yeah, Brantt, of course he is. I'm like, hey guys, relax, man. Fuck, it's week 24. It's not like, fucking 5 years into YouTube. I YouTube like old fights and sports cars and SUVs and business stuff. I don't YouTube Jake Paul. So, but he's big. I get it. Anyways, who's gonna win? Here's what I think. Tyson's 57, right? 58, and I think he's gonna fucking knock him out. Now, the only reason why I'd say that he'd probably knock him out in the first round if they were wearing those 8-ounce gloves. I think they're wearing 11, maybe, if I'm correct, and they're only doing 2-minute rounds, right? instead of 3. But listen, guys, Tyson said it great in the Netflix documentary. It's a different animal when you've been born and you've been raised and you've been bred to fucking kill, right? Your whole life since you was fucking 12. Okay, those instincts in the ring. You know, I went out on the ice. I'm terrible. I'm fucking terrible. My hands suck. My feet suck. My wins suck. But you know what? I'd still put myself up to any other beer leaguer at 50 years old. And again, it's repetition since you were a kid, right? And this is what Mike's done. And if he goes in guns a-blazing and no holds barred, he's going to fucking knock this kid out. He's going to give him a fucking jab or a fake, right? And Jake's going to reach out and Mikey T is going to come up with the uppercut and it's going to be good night, Irene, for you. God bless you two, though, for getting in the ring and doing it. I think it's great. But anyways, I think Tyson's going to knock him out. What else we got here? Oh, so remember Shannon? He's been writing in every day. What's Shannon at now? Shannon is at day 20, day 21, day 22, day 23. So Shannon is at day 23. Congrats, bud. Here's another guy. Tim. Just, hey man, wanted to reach out and tell you that you've been one hell of an influence. Thank you. You and this gentleman and I have had my struggles. I am proud to say next month I will proudly be 8 years sober. Congratulations, Tim S. Good for you, brother. 8 years. That's awesome, man. All right, here we go. Riley J. Mr. Myhres, first I'd like to thank you. Thank you for what you've done and what you're doing. UnHammered is part of my weekly routine. And getting my medicine at the Church of Myhres sets up my next 7 days. I'm grateful for that. Secondly, I just finished Painkiller. I bought 2 copies and now I've read it and I have to pass it on. My mom is bugging me for a copy. So is my sponsor. Anyways, thanks for the pod, man. I'm looking forward to it every week. Thanks, Riley. You know what, guys? It's an interesting thing. You know, sometimes, you know, and I talk about it often. I talk about the voice of addiction and how it can creep in and tell you to quit. Brantt, why are you doing it? Why are you doing the pod? You don't make any fucking money. You don't ask for subscribers so you can make money. You don't take on sponsorships so you can make money. Why are you doing it, Brantt? And I think when it all boils down to it is I made a commitment to myself. I made a commitment to myself that no matter what, no matter how I was feeling, I was going to get ready. I was going to clean up and I was going to come down here and I was going to record. I don't know how long that's going to go for, but I woke up this morning making a commitment to do it today for week 24. And combating the voices, hey, everyone, combating those. So I do it because I made a commitment to Brantt. And it's not about the money. It really isn't. This has nothing to do. I never started this I've never asked anybody once to like a fucking video. So I don't care about that. Algorithm, whatever. Okay. This is interesting. If you could write a letter to yourself, your past self, what would it be? We're not going there now, are we, folks? We're not going there, are we? The emotional Brantt. I need to think about that. I need to think about that one because I wouldn't make it through it this podcast writing it out to my younger self. Maybe I'll write something. Maybe I'll write the first paragraph. Maybe you guys can write the first paragraph if you could write to your younger self. Maybe when you were like 10, 8, just a kid. What would you say? What would you say to yourself about your journey that's coming up? That's a fucking powerful one, man. I don't know what my first paragraph says. It's going to say hang on. I'll tell you that. It's going to say hang on. So yeah, I can't, sorry, man, I can't get to that one right now. But we will, maybe. Do I make a commitment to you guys to read the first paragraph? No. I'll think about it. Okay, so we talked about rehab, right? Going into rehab and what can you expect? What can you expect when you get out post-treatment? What's that like? And no matter what you're in for, you could be in for overeating, gambling, sex addiction, any type of addiction, right, where it's taking you down. What is that like for you, and what does post-recovery look like? And I can just share from experience, like man-on-man routine is really important, hey, in anything. And I was fortunate. I lived with a gentleman that had some sobriety. He let me live in his basement, and I had really nowhere to go. And anyways, so I lived there, and back to the old commitment to Brantt. Hey man, I don't know where this is going. I'm gonna have smart feet and get my ass to a meeting, and just do that every day. And make sure you pray, and write in a journal. Just do that, dude. And then don't hang out with those guys. Don't hang out with those fucking guys that you were chopping fucking rails up at 7 a.m. You don't really want to do that. You can say hi to them, right? Maybe meet out for a piece of pizza or something, but don't be hanging out too long with them, right? The old saying, hang out in a barber shop long enough, you're going to get that lid chopped, and that's true. You will. So anyways, I had to change some friends. And what else? I had to go to meetings, go to the gym, change my friends, which initially, as I'm changing those things, my mind's changing, right? Because I've been so dead set on a certain way for Brantt Myhres since I was probably 16 years old. And now I was 34. It's a lot of years of thinking the same way. So got to be patient with yourself. But post-rehab is, you got to get a support group. And it's very important that you, if you can, we're not perfect, but if you can try and do one thing for your recovery every day, and sometimes for me, honest to God, guys, it is that spiritual connection to God, which I call God. And hey God, you know what? Can you keep me sober today? Thanks for my sobriety yesterday, and please give me the strength. And sometimes it's just that. It is, and then if you can add something else in, like, yesterday I went to the gym and grinded it out, and then got some groceries for me and my boy, and cut him up some fruit, and when we got home, and it was just a good day, and I took care of him. So when I'm doing good things, I feel good about Brantt most of the time, anyways. Hey Brantt, what was it like moving away at 16 years old? Man, that was tough. I had a girlfriend back in Grand Center named Brandy, and she was the first love of my life, and that was really hard. That was really hard to move away. Sort of excited, leaving Grandma and Grandpa's den, going to play junior hockey, going from playing in front of maybe 100 people to 10,000, and in the United States. So when I packed up my Camaro and I'm headed down to Portland, I was excited and I was sad. I had a big cell phone bill every month. My grandma Joe would fucking almost have a stroke over. It was about 800 to 1,000 a month back then. That's a lot of money, man. In the 1990, that's a lot of money. Calling Brandy all the time and calling Grandma and Cher and everybody and my dad. It was tough. But you know what? I mean, man, oh man, that's just a baby. That'd be like Peanut jumping in a car right now and going for a scholarship somewhere in the States, and her driving herself, So it wasn't easy, but you know what? For some reason, I was just, I guess, built to just zone in and focus, and making the Western Hockey League at 16, for me personally, was like making the NHL. So yeah, that's what it was like. It was scary, but it was awesome. It was fun. I ate them out of house and home too. I was getting bigger at that age. What was this one? Hey, Brantt, how did you learn to like yourself again? It was an ongoing process. I think Father Time helps out. Father Time helps out with that one. And how long was it before I could start looking in the mirror? Oh boy, probably 90 days. I think it was 3 months in treatment when I'd go work out and I'd go shower and I'd look at myself and sort of, excuse me, give myself a little wink, And so it was about 90 days, I think, when I was starting to forgive myself a little bit. It takes time, guys. It does. This is not a, it's not a magic pill. It's just not. You got to put the work in. And as I was putting the work in, I started to like myself more. It was just more confidence. So yeah, that's, I think was the time range for me. It was about 90 days when I started to say, hey man, you know what? You're not a bad guy. You're actually a pretty nice guy. You're a pretty nice guy with a bad disease. You're a pretty nice guy with a bad disease. Disease of the mind tells you don't have it when everybody else knows that you do. Okay. I want to read a little bit, everyone. Okay. Why don't we do that? Boom. Here we go. Oh, are we on my favorite chapter? I think so. Oh, we sure are. It's called How It Works. So they're telling you how it works, I guess. Okay, remember we ended with that God couldn't would if he were sought. All right, page 60 if you want to follow along. Being convinced, we are at step 3, which is that we decided to turn our will and our life over to God as we understood him. Just what do we mean by that, and just how do we do it? Excuse me. The first requirement is that we may be convinced that any life run on self-will can hardly be a success. On that basis, we are almost always in collision with something or somebody, even though our motives are good. Most people try to live by self-propulsion. Each person is like an actor who wants to run the whole show, is forever trying to arrange the lights, the ballet, the scenery, and the rest of the players in his own way. Anybody relate? His arrangements would only stay put. If only people would do as he wished, the show would be great. Everybody, including himself, would be pleased. Life would be wonderful. In trying to make these arrangements, our actor may sometimes be quite vitreous. He may be kind, considerate, patient, generous, even modest, and self-sacrificing. On the other hand, he may be mean, egotistical, selfish, and dishonest. But, as with most humans, he is more likely to have varied traits. That's an interesting one. Almost like he's got a mask on, hey? As you're trying to orchestrate this movie. What usually happens? Question mark. The show doesn't come off very well. He begins to think life doesn't treat him right. He decides to exert himself more. He becomes, on the next occasion, still more demanding or gracious, as the case may be. Still, the play does not suit him. Admitting he may be somewhat at fault, he is sure that other people are more to blame. He becomes angry, self-pitying. What is this basic trouble? Question mark. Is he not really a self-seeker even when trying to be kind? Is he not a victim of the delusion he can wrest satisfaction and happiness out of this world if he only manages well? Question mark. It is not evident to all the rest of the players that these are the things he wants. And do not his actions make each of them wish to retaliate? Snatching all they can get out of the show? Question mark. Is he not, even in his best moments, a producer of confusion rather than harmony? Excuse me. Sorry about that. I think I'm coming down with a bit of a cold in my throat. Our actor is self-centered, egocentric, as people like to call it nowadays. He is the retired businessman who lolls in the Florida sunshine in the winter complaining of the sad state of the nation. The minister who sighs over the sins of the 20th century politicians and reformers who are sure all would be utopia if the rest of the world would only behave. The outlaw safecracker who thinks society has wronged him. And the alcoholic and addict who has lost all and is locked up. Whatever our prostitutions are, sorry, I fucked that up, are not most of us concerned with ourselves, our resentments, our self-pity, ? Yes, I'm pretty sure. Okay, one more paragraph. Selfishness, self-centeredness, that we think is the root of all of our troubles. Driven by 100 forms of fear, self-delusion, self-seeking, and self-pity. We step on the toes of our fellows and they retaliate. Sometimes they hurt us seemingly without provocation, but invariably find that at some point in the past we have made a decision based on self, which later placed us in a position to be hurt. Yeah, I can relate to that. I think that in my case, man, oh man, I had quite the movie going. There was a lot of actors. And, had to fire them, rehire them, fire myself, rehire myself. But, man, I wanted that movie to be perfect. And it was a sequel. We had we had a few sequels in there. And basically that is just self-centeredness, right? And egocentric. And that's me to the core. I don't know if that's you. But anyways. All right, guys. What else do we got here? Excuse me. Yeah, I am getting a cold, hey? You guys probably tell that. Somebody wanted to know when was the moment that I realized sobriety was my only option. And, I guess my only option, February 18th, 2008, again, when I was handcuffed. At that point, I had two options, right? When I got driven home by the cops, I was going to either get sober or I was going to buy some heroin and overdose. I was done. And so the only option for me was, okay, well, here, let's give this prayer one more shot. Let's give it one more shot. And let's give God another shot here, because I'm going to need some help. And so when I got on my knees and I cried for an hour, there was only one option. No, it wasn't suicide anymore. It was get sober and stay sober, no matter what, and no matter how you're feeling, and get on the plane. And I did. So that was sort of what it was like for my option. Is that was February 18th. Yeah, when I got driven home by the police. Anyways, what was this? What the hell? Oh, the story of the strip joint in Lethbridge. Jesus, that was a wild one, actually. Because somebody asked me a question, if you could change one thing in the NHL when you played, what would it be? And I said, stay out of the strip bars. I wouldn't go to the strip bars anymore, especially in New York and in Tampa Bay. They got the best. And then when I was playing for Lethbridge in the Western Hockey League, they had some really good strippers there too at a hotel. I believe that hotel shut down now. I think we probably shut her down. But yeah, man, that was a wild day. We finished practice and me and the boys went down to this hotel where they had the strippers in the afternoon back then, And you'd order your jug of beer and you'd have your Clamato juice or whatever. And anyways, we're all sitting there partying, and one of my teammates, Corey, he's front row and I'm sort of in the back chilling out watching the girl dance, and it's seem a little bit rowdy in there. And it's still, early in the afternoon, probably like 2 p.m. And me and, I don't know, maybe 8 guys from the team are there eating some nachos and drinking some draft beer and listening to some Motley Crue. And all of a sudden, my buddy Corey is, arguing with this guy in the front row as the strippers dancing. And I see the next thing, this big biker stands up and he grabs the chair and he smashes it over Corey's head. So I go, holy shit, boys, here we go. Next thing you know, I come in, I grab a guy, I swing or whatever, and now I see that the real estate's getting really tiny, and there's not a lot of room to punch. So I decide to jump on stage with the stripper, so that I can pick these guys off one by one. So as my teammates are scrapping, I found myself on stage with the dancer, and they're coming at me and bang, bang, bang. And, my buddy's bleeding from his face because he's got a chair smashed over his head. And I got, blood all over my face. I think I got sucker punched in the nose. And, the stripper, she was fine. She got off stage pretty quick. And she left me up there solo. So it was a wild day, or a wild afternoon, actually. And sure enough, we get back to the rink the next day, and a couple guys are, got some marks, and of course they blame it on me. Like I had nothing to do with it, man. I was actually in the back row. I wasn't in the front row this time. I wasn't fighting with the biker, the Hell's Angel. I was chilling, eating nachos, man. Leave me alone on this one, and that was true. And Corey, you know who you are, buddy. Anyways, all right, guys. Why don't we read something on the way out? Okay. Okay. When we retire at night, we constructively review our day. Were we resentful, selfish, dishonest, or afraid? Do we owe an apology? Have we kept something to ourselves which should be discussed with another person at once? ? Were we kind and loving to all? ? What could we have done better? Were we thinking of ourselves most of the time, or were we thinking of what we could do for others, of what we could pack into the stream of life? But we must be careful not to drift into worry, remorse, or morbid reflection, for that would diminish our usefulness to others. After making our reviews, we ask God's forgiveness and inquire what corrective measures should be taken. I love that one. Asking for forgiveness there's nothing wrong with asking for forgiveness, everybody. I mean, is perfect even in the dictionary? I'm going to look that up. There's no such thing as perfection, is there? Maybe other than, I don't know. I don't think so. So yeah, asking for forgiveness, there's nothing wrong with that. Okay. Hey, guys, it's that time. And hashtag UnHammered, one more week. Let's do it, man. We'll be on week 25. And thanks for coming along for the ride. It's been great. I look forward to interacting with all of you guys during the week. And yeah, have a great week. If you see somebody in need, help them. Okay? Help them. Do something nice for somebody the next 7 days. One thing. Thanks. Take care.